Welcome to the second video tutorial about 5.4 cameras. The first one we covered about getting the camera out of the box and setting the tripod up. And this one we're going to cover about the lens, setting up the lens, and loading a Darkslide and inserting the Darkslide into the camera. So if we look at the lens first, the lens has got everything on it that you're used to with a 35mm camera. So it's got your f-stops round here, it's got your shutter speed on this dial here, and you move it by moving this dial. It's also got the shutter built into it, and we need to cock the shutter every time we take a shot. And the way we cock the shutter is with this here, and then to fire the shutter, we use this one here. But you wouldn't use your finger, you'd actually use one of these that I've got in my back pocket, which is a cable release. And the cable release is actually inserted in here. Just screw it in. So, cock the shutter and fire it like that. There's a couple of other dials that you'll notice on this camera as well. There's this one back here with a red X. That's the flash sync. And you put the flash sync cord on there to fire the flashes off. And the last button on this is this button up here, and that actually opens the shutter up and closes it, so it allows you to actually focus the camera. If you open this up, you'll notice that you can see through the lens onto the glass screen on the back now. And if I push it across, you can't see now. And it's very important, and we'll be talking about this a little bit later on, that you get that in the right position when you're taking your shot. Otherwise, you'll fog your piece of film. Once you've got your camera set up, the next thing to do is set your lens up. To set the lens up, you need to know a meter reading. And suppose our meter reading's 125th at f11. So we need to set our shutter speed to 125th of a second. So we move this dial round, so we're on 125th. And then we need to set our f-stop to f11. And that's this dial here, and f11's there. Once you've set your shutter speed and set your aperture, I always like to check to make sure that the actual camera's firing. So what I tend to do is cock the camera. So I cock it here, and I fire, and I look down into the lens to make sure that the lens is opening. And I do that twice. Now I'm ready to actually insert my Darkslide. So let's load the Darkslide up first. So now we've set the camera up and we've set the lens up, the next thing to do is load our Darkslide with our film. This is our Darkslide. It's actually called a double Darkslide because you can insert two pieces of film into it. This is a box of film. As you can see, this one's empty. It's the only joke you're going to get in this. And you obviously have to load this in the dark, okay? So assume we're in the dark now, so we can load this film. Open up our box, take the lid off, and inside you've got another box, okay? It's double protection for you. Inside there, you've got a black bag, and inside the bag, you've got a little piece of card, and inside the card is your film. Got two sheets in here, I'll put those to one side. This is a sheet of 5.4 film, and the first thing you'll notice about it is that it's actually got notches across the top here. There's two reasons for the notches. The first reason is that you can identify it in the dark by running your fingers across the top of it, and it actually tells you on the box what type of film it is. And the second reason, and the main reason I use it, and that's for if I'm holding it in my right hand and I can feel the notches with my index finger, then I know the emulsion is facing me. And it's very important to know which way the emulsion's facing for when you put the film into the Darkslide, because obviously you need the film, the emulsion, sorry, to be facing you. So, this is our Darkslide. Open it up. You've got these security clips on top, and pull the Darkslide up like so, and it actually comes out. First thing I want to just talk about the actual Darkslide itself is that one side is white and one side is black, okay? When you load your film into the Darkslide and you insert the slide in, make sure that you have the white side facing out, okay? So when you look at your Darkslide, you can actually say, that's got a piece of film in it. Obviously, you're going to be in the dark. You can't tell which side is white and which side is dark. So along the top here, you can feel some ridges. There's some ridges here and there's some ridges here. And the ridges denote the white side, okay? So I'll have that laid down like so. So I open it up like this, and you'll notice that there's two grooves. There's a lower groove and an upper groove. The lower groove is where the film's actually going to go, and the upper groove is for where the Darkslide actually travels. So make sure that you get your film into the lower groove. So you've got your film, index finger can feel it, and literally put it in like so, and it goes up. Close that down, and insert my Darkslide, remembering to have the white side facing out, like so, and then turn one of the notches round to lock it off. And if I was going to load another piece of film, I'd turn it over and do the same. If I wasn't going to load a piece of film in here, I'd make sure that this was facing black. So now, when I take this out of my bag, I will know that that hasn't got a piece of film in it because it's showing black. This has got a piece of film in it because it's showing white. So now we're actually going to put our Darkslide into the camera. I turn this round. The Darkslide goes in up here, and obviously if we were doing a landscape, then it would either go in from here or in from this side. First thing to say about it is you don't need to pull this back too far, okay? It's only got to be pulled back the width of this. So we pull back, making sure that the white is facing forward. And then once you insert it, listen for the clicks, like so. And then you know you've got a nice flush fit all the way around, so it's going to be light tight. Once it's in place, we must make sure that this is clicked across to make sure that the shutter's actually closed. Once it's closed, just take one look at our view or our portrait or whatever, and lift that up. Make sure the camera's cocked. Take our shot and put our Darkslide back in. This time when you put your Darkslide back in, make sure that you put the black edge back in, facing out. Once that's in, lock it off. I'll bring it back around this way. Take the Darkslide out, and now it's ready to process.